What is up, ladies and gentlemen? I am back, and this time I'm giving you guys the week's wrap along with the Raw recap. So what happened this past week in the news? We got ourselves some big news about WWE and their plans as they get back on the road. Then we also got some big plans coming for Summerslam, and we also got a lot that happened with Money in the Bank Qualifiers and a big-time main event on Raw. So, without further ado, I'm Kevin Jones, Disciples of Wrestling, and let's hop into it. Now let's get started with WWE, and they got some good plans coming for later this year. Now, Vince has been a little frustrated and been thinking that Raw has been a little stale. Along with some WWE officials backstage, they've all been thinking that Raw needs a little bit of a shakeup. So, hopefully coming by the end of this year and then early in the next year, they plan on bringing back the King of the Ring tournament. They also plan on bringing Cyber Sunday back along with old school Raw, which is pretty great news to hear, especially with this past week's bump having King Corbin up there talking about how he would love to have the return of the King of the Ring tournament, calling out guys like Xavier Woods and numerous other people on the SmackDown roster, and even getting a little tweet from Adam Pearce talking about how him and Corbin have been talking about it backstage, and some big things will be coming soon in the later weeks. So hopefully King of the Ring tournament does come back, because this gives us some great time to see a showcase of a bunch of talent that's in the mid-card that we would love to see get some more spotlight time. Now, some other things that we could be seeing changes coming around is new stage setups. We'll be definitely getting that for Raw and SmackDown, and even getting some graphic changes and a lot of spotlight changes as we head to SummerSlam. And also, the draft is returning. We will be getting another shakeup, and that is, as planned, will be coming in on August 30th and September 9th. So some big plans coming from WWE later on this year as they get back on the road. Speaking of big plans, SummerSlam. Some more SummerSlam news has been leaked. Now, here's the new card list that plans on coming in SummerSlam. Now, don't take this to heart. This is all just rumors and speculations. Now, of course, everything has been heavily speculated, with the headliner being Roman Reigns versus John Cena for the Universal Championship. Well, here's more speculation and more rumors. They do plan on going ahead with Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship. At first, Brock wasn't planning on coming back until later on this year, if this year at all. Now we could be seeing Brock as early as the Money in the Bank. So there's no telling what we could see from WWE as fans come back and as the Beast Incarnate could be returning. Another match, Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair 2 for the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship. Another match will be, that is currently slated as well, is Seth Rollins versus the Rated R superstar Edge. So that is some big things. And also another big return for SummerSlam that could be happening, Becky Lynch. So huge news coming up, and I can't wait to see what ends up flourishing as things start to get a little bit excited and things start to pick up a little bit as we get closer and closer to SummerSlam. Now, of course, I just talked about how Becky Lynch is going to be scheduled to make her return at SummerSlam. Well, some more big news regarding Becky Lynch. She has been spotted this past week at the Performance Center, where, of course, this is where you get the checkup and the training before you get back onto the on the road and back in the ring. So this means some good things. And apparently, Becky Lynch is ripped. And not only are the fans looking to get excited with the return of the man, so are the females. As they've been frustrated with the booking in the females division, they're hoping that with Becky coming back, that means way better booking coming, as of course, Becky, while she was active, she was very, very hands-on in the creative process for the entire females division. So with one wrestler planning on coming back, another wrestler plans on taking a break. As KO released a tweet this past week, actually yesterday, after of course taking the loss against Sami Zayn in a heck of a match at Hell in a Cell, KO released a tweet talking about how he plans on stepping away from the ring for a little bit and really just take some much needed time off, which I am A-okay with. I love KO to death, and I'm glad that he gets to take some time off. And when he comes back, it'll be fresh and new once again, and we get to see Fight Owens fight. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that was all the news I had for this past week. So let's hop into the Raw recap. So with this Raw recap in about 5 minutes, we start off the show with the VIP Lounge with Bobby Lashley and MVP celebrating the reigning and defending WWE Champion and his successful title reign inside the Hell in a Cell at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Now, of course, while he's celebrating, we get the interruption of the New Day, and it's Kofi Kingston staking his claim and challenging Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship at Money in the Bank. Now, Bobby ends up accepting this, and we also see another challenge laid down for later on in the night, and it is Xavier Woods versus Bobby Lashley in the Hell in a Cell. In this match in the main event was a banger. We ended up seeing a lot of Xavier Woods capitalizing on a lot of the injuries that Bobby sustained throughout the Hell in a Cell match the night before. Now, unfortunately for Xavier Woods, even on his best day, it was not enough to take care of a 50% Bobby Lashley, as Bobby Lashley ends up taking the win and beating Xavier Woods with the submission victory with the Hurt Lock. Now, after the match, we end up seeing MVP locking himself and Bobby Lashley inside the Hell in a Cell with Xavier Woods to relock in the Hurt Lock once again, with Kofi Kingston on the other side, on the outside of the Hell in a Cell structure, begging Bobby Lashley to let go of the Hurt Lock. Now, outside of the stuff that happened with the WWE Championship picture, we had Money in the Bank qualifiers tonight. We had ourselves the men's qualifiers, which their theme was some upsets. So we started off with Ricochet versus AJ Styles, and this was a banger of a match where we saw a lot of athleticism from both guys. We actually saw Ricochet control most part of this match, but it looked like AJ Styles was about to hit his second gear. But what ended up happening was the Viking Raiders came out and they ended up taking out Omos, where AJ Styles ended up being distracted from this event, and Ricochet ended up capitalizing as he gets the win and qualifies for the Money in the Bank. Now, the second match, it was John Morrison versus Randy Orton. This was a slower pace and more aggressive match for these seasoned vets that ended up seeing Randy Orton controlling for the most part this match. As he's looking to hit the RKO, we see that Miz ends up squirting him in the face with the drip step from the outside. And this brings out Matt Riddle to come to Randy Orton's aid, but this leads to another distraction. And this, of course, John Morrison ends up capitalizing, hitting the Starship Pain, and gets the win to qualify for the men's Money in the Bank. So we go to the third one. The third is Matt Riddle versus Drew McIntyre. And this, I feel like, was the best match out of all the qualifier matches. This actually was a great back and forth where the story of the match was Matt Riddle capitalizing and taking advantage of this injury sustained by Drew McIntyre in the Hell in a Cell the night before. This slowed down the pace, but also brought a lot of aggression from both guys. And it ended up working out for Matt Riddle as he got the win and qualified for the men's Money in the Bank. Now, on the female side, you know how on the men's side I said the theme was the upsets? Well, on the female side, the theme was confusion. That's what it was. So we start off our first match, and it is Naomi and Asuka versus Eva Marie and the newly named Dewdrop. Yeah, that's what she's calling her apprentice. So they end up going out there, and Eva Marie quickly tags in Dewdrop, and quickly Dewdrop just dominates Naomi and Asuka. And as it looks like that Dewdrop's about to put this match away, Eva Marie tags herself in to look like she's gonna get the pinfall for the team, but we see a kick out and a near fall. Now, of course, when Eva realizes that she might have to do some scrapping, she ends up trying to tag in Dewdrop, but Dewdrop gets off the apron in a complete disgust and frustration at Eva Marie. And of course, this leads to a roll-up victory for Asuka and Naomi as they qualify. Now with the second one. So, like, you got this well-established tag team. They're former women's tag team champions. It is Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax, and they are wrestling Alexa Bliss, who got some new theme music, and it sounds fire, to be honest. And then you got Nikki Cross as a superhero. That is now Nikki Cross's new theme. She is now a superhero. Yeah. And guess what happens? Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss win. And what happens? Why is the reason? It's because Alexa Bliss is looking to put some more trends and looking to play more mind games with Nia Jax and of course Reggie and Shayna Baszler. And of course, we see the heroism from Nikki Cross as she kicks her offense into another gear and picks up the win for her tag team. And now we have the qualifiers of Asuka, Naomi, Nikki Cross, and Alexa Bliss. Now, of course, with this action being in the books, we got some new matches coming up for next week where we will be seeing the second chance Money in the Bank match, where it will be Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre versus AJ Styles to see who's qualifying for the last slot for the men's. And then we got on the other side, we have the strap match between Elias and Jackson Riker next week. So not gonna lie, there was some nice action and it was a very enjoyable episode of Raw last night. I mean, there was some stupid stuff, but the good stuff balanced the stupid stuff, which brought a nice, decent episode of Raw. And of course, that was all the news, like I said, that I brought you guys this week. So, I'm Kevin Jones, the Disciples of Wrestling, and I'll be seeing you guys later on throughout the week. So, until next time, that was wrestling.